Welcome to Off Air with Christy Capel. I have a special guest with me on the show today. This is Jayne Kennedy, an icon. You already know her by her name, but she is actually Ohio's own, so I will say that. She began her Hollywood career in 1971. She was a dancer on the top-rated show Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In, to a singer and dancer on the Dean Martin Show. She was one of the first female and African-American broadcasters on the Emmy Award-winning CBS program, The NFL Today. She just recently received the Pioneer Award at the NABJ conference, which was actually held in Cleveland this year, along with a proclamation from Cleveland Mayor Justin Bibb. Also the first Black woman to win Miss Ohio USA. She's also raised 4 beautiful daughters and now an author. Her memoir, Plain Jane, is out now. So welcome home, I guess you could say.
Thank you. This is home.
This is home.
Yeah, and it feels good to be home.
So Jayne grew up. She went to Wycliffe High School.
Yes.
Go Blue Devils.
Go Blue Devils. Go Blue Devils.
And so you've been
head cheerleader, captain of the cheer squad.
So I read that. So what was that like? I was a cheerleader too. Yeah, I know. Imagine that.
I was like the kind of girl that, what else can I do? Anything else I could do. I did everything I possibly could do. Volleyball. This was pre-Title IX.
Right.
So we didn't have any interscholastic sports for women, for girls.
Yeah.
And so we would only play intramural sports within our school, play other grades, play other teams within our school. So we didn't have a team, and I said, I'm putting together a basketball team.
Yes.
So I'm captain because I'm doing it.
Sure. Was it hard to see your friends the next day in the same school after playing them?
No,
Especially if you beat them.
We beat everybody. We even beat the other grades. So, we beat the seniors, we beat everybody. But I had the secret weapon. I had twins, identical twins on my team.
Boy.
They were incredible, the Germ twins. And they looked identical. So when they'd switch, you wouldn't know who you were guarding. You would know who was going to take the shoot. And it was so hard. And
funny.
They had this routine down pat.
Right.
Trust me, they had it down pat.
Well, that was like your secret weapon, I guess.
That was my secret weapon.
I'm guessing, did you play center?
No, as a matter of fact, that was when you only played half court. Girls could only play half court. So you had your forwards and your defenders. And so once you got to the half court line, you'd have to stop. You'd have to pass to somebody. Stupidest rule I ever had, but like
I played basketball too. I think it would have been a little bit easier than not running the full court.
We never even got exhausted. I mean, you grab the ball and you take like 3 steps and then you pass it. That's not basketball.
No, I agree. So then you were also class president.
Yes.
At Wycliffe High School too. What else?
I was selected to be one of the girls to represent our school for the American Legion Association Girls State Program. And on the bus ride down, my colleagues convinced me to run for governor. And so I did. I was always up for a challenge. I did, and I did not win. But at the end of the convention, I was voted to be the senator to go to Washington, D.C., the senator from Ohio.
Oh, my God.
And so when I got there, I decided I was going to run for vice president because vice president runs the Senate. So you have campaign for 1 week. Second week, if you're president, you don't have anything to do. So I said, I'm running for vice president. Then I won, and I got to put the flowers on John F. Kennedy's tomb and the unknown soldier, and came back home, and I was working for May Company Teen Fashion Board.
I saw that. So, what was that like?
That was great. As a matter of fact,
for those who don't know, May Company was like
a
Dillard's,
department store,
right? Like a big department store.
Big department store, and they had their main office downtown, near the Terminal Tower, I think. And so they had a dinner at the Terminal Tower, and we were working the dinner. The models were working the dinner. So I'm backstage getting ready to make my change to go out for my next outfit, and they introduced none other than Shirley Chisholm. And I'm looking through the drapes, and I'm saying, oh my God, Shirley Chisholm. I was just fascinated with her.
Wow.
And that's when I decided I was going into politics.
Wow.
That didn't happen either. I changed my mind again.
That's okay. We're allowed, right? She was also one of 6 children. So
Yes.
life in Cleveland, everybody was here.
Yes.
Right. So one of 6 children, that's a lot of kids. And you guys all kind of just,
5 girls and 1 boy.
wow.
And he was the baby.
Poor brother.
Poor brother. He was only 6 years old when I left.
Oh my
You know, and it just broke my heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you ended up leaving Cleveland.
Yes.
Right. And so we go to LA.
Go to LA.
And we're like, this is amazing.
Yes.
What was that moment like when you landed in LA? Can you remember that?
No, we didn't fly.
Or just landed, just walked out of your car?
I was asleep in the back of the car, and my new husband, we had just gotten married, and we knew that if we got an apartment and settled in Cleveland, we might never leave.
Yeah.
So we decided to just pack up and go. So we drove cross country, and I was asleep in the back seat, and he said, "Wake up, wake up, wake up, we're here." And I woke up, and the very first thing I saw out the window was a sign, and it said Hope Street.
Wow.
And that meant the world to me, Hope Street.
Yeah.
And it sort of set me on a path that I was doing the right thing. And then within 2 months, I had the job as a singer-dancer on Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In. And before Christmas, I got there in July. Before Christmas, I was on the Bob Hope USO Bases Around the World tour. Wow. So we went to Vietnam, Cambodia, Japan, just hitting all the spots. And
Yeah, there was no slowing down for you.
There was no slowing down, no. And then I came back, and then I immediately got hired for the Dingling Sisters on the Dean Martin show.
My God.
And I worked there for 3 years.
What was that show like?
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy, because we also worked during the off season. We would go out on the road and perform in nightclubs.
Jeez.
And one nightclub we went to in Beaumont, Texas, and my sister had come to see the show. She lived in Houston at the time. And I got a note that she was leaving. And I said, "No, tell her to come here. I need her to come backstage. What's wrong?" So she came backstage, and she was crying. Mm. And I said, "Why are you leaving the show?" She said, "Because they don't allow blacks." Wow. So they wouldn't seat her. Mm. So I said, "Well, if they don't allow blacks, then I can't perform." So I started undressing. And then everybody went crazy, and they started calling the lawyers and back and forth to Los Angeles. And by then, the other girls are saying, "Well, if Jayne's not performing," they said, "Well, don't you have a policy where, somebody gets sick, you can still go on?" And they said, "Yeah, we do, but we're not sick, and she's our sister, so if she doesn't perform, we don't either." So we all got undressed, changed our clothes, and all this is going on just outside, because I don't know if you've done these type of road shows before, but you're usually just off the kitchen.
Right.
And so the whole kitchen staff is hearing this, right, this exchange. They're all black. So they all quit working.
Wow.
And then finally the lawyers in L.A. said, you guys, you've got to, we're not going to back down on this. You've got to let her sister in. Mm-hmm. So they did, and we went on to perform the show.
Jayne was the first black woman to win Miss Ohio USA. I mean, breaking ground your entire life, even
Yes.
up until this day. We actually have something in common. I was Miss Missouri USA. Y'all know that, but pageants were different then as they are now. And I don't know. What do you think about the pageant industry?
It wasn't my idea. My mom did it.
My mom did it too. I played too many sports. She's like, "You got to try something to add to it."
I played all the sports,
How funny.
But my mom saw an ad in the paper, send in a picture, and if you're picked, then you get to try out for Miss Cleveland, because they didn't know where Wycliffe was.
Right.
So we get a letter saying that I'd been selected. So I go down there and I win Miss Cleveland. And then and I'm still in high school. And so then I go back to school, and then I get another notice saying, well, the Miss Ohio pageant is going to be on so-and-so date. And it's the night of my senior prom.
Oh, no.
So, now I got to go to Hawaii, to Fort Lauderdale.
For Miss
No, it was
Ohio?
Miami.
Really?
For the Miss USA
For Miss
pageant.
USA.
Miss USA
yes,
pageant.
mine was in Baltimore, Maryland. Yours sounds a lot more exciting. Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
I really haven't stayed in touch with the pageantry.
I haven't.
Pageant
I
industry
haven't.
either. So it's interesting.
The only thing I got out of it was there was a bank at the mall. The pageant was at the mall.
Nice.
And
Nice.
and there was a bank that was offering a $100 bracelet. No, a tiny little bracelet if you opened up a $100 bank account. And so anybody could get this little bracelet, and that's what I got. That was it.
That was it.
And Mayor Stokes heard about it. Mayor Carl Stokes was there at that time, and his wife got all of her friends together, and they gathered some winning properties, these gowns and things, for me to go to Miami.
That's so funny. We both were talking before the podcast. Like, we didn't know what we were doing. We just enrolled in the pageant, and we took home the crown, and we're like, now what do we do? Right? But
Well, I mean, especially since they said, I wasn't going to win. So, I just had a lot of fun. But I did
Exactly.
make it to the top 10. So,
in Miss USA.
Yes.
That is awesome. I did not. Anyway, let's talk. You have 4 daughters. So did they follow in your footsteps with
No,
the
not at
pageant
all.
industry? So I have 2 daughters and then one son. And give us moms advice on raising girls.
this path that I chose is not the path for everyone. I've been a stay-at-home mom, and I was there for my daughters every step of the way. If they needed help, with college applications, I would help do the research, find what might be proper for them, as well as their friends. I actually have like 48 daughters.
Oh.
Because they all call me Mama Jayne, and I've helped every single one of them. I started noticing when they were 9 years old that my girls were playing AYSO
Okay.
soccer.
Yep.
And so I noticed these girls that were so awesome, and I said they can do so much better than AYSO. Not to put AYSO down.
Yeah.
But they should be playing club
It's other
soccer.
levels. Yep.
They're just too good. So I had a meeting, put all the girls together. Mom said great, and they started winning tournaments right and left.
Wow.
Right and left. And then eventually I had maybe 8 of them that went on to get college scholarships.
That's amazing.
Yes.
We're just getting into travel soccer right now, and it's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
I mean,
It's a lot of your time.
basketball was the it thing when I was a kid, and now all this travel and club stuff. I mean, it gets hard on parents.
It is. It's very hard. It's very difficult.
Yeah.
And then, like I'm the one that's at home with mine. So all the other parents, can you pick up my girl? Can you pick up my girl? Can you pick up my girl? And that's how I end up with all carpooling.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then I also became the manager of the team,
How fun.
team captain
Again.
again. Yeah, so that was huge. You can't get me away from sports.
Yes, I know. I hear you. I agree. I say that all the time. And then now we live vicariously through, our kids.
Our kids.
Always.
Our kids.
Now you're an empty nester, though.
They never really leave.
That's
Even
weird.
though they leave home, they're still calling. I must talk to them
Yeah.
10 times a day, each of them.
Yeah.
10 times a day.
That's awesome.
Especially now with mobile devices, et cetera.
Yes. And she's a grandma.
And I'm a grandma.
So I hear that's the best part of life.
Well, my youngest grandson, is in Dallas, Texas, so don't get to see him that often.
Yeah.
But I would love to.
Yeah, that's what pictures and stuff is for,
And
right?
yeah. Well, no, it doesn't. It doesn't.
It doesn't work.
meet. It doesn't
hear
hack
you.
it at all.
I know
But
it.
the last time he was there, we started getting into. He's 9 months old now.
Yeah.
He started getting into this thing where hello was. I reach in and my forehead would touch his, and I kept doing that. Hello. So now when he sees me on the phone, he does this to the phone.
He headbutts the cell phone. He's so cute. I saw his picture on
thank you.
Instagram.
Thank you.
He's darling.
He is.
We got to talk about your book. You have to get the book, which you'll can get
September
anywhere.
2.
Yes, and if you're listening now, it's probably already out. It's called Plain Jayne. It's a memoir, and
Yes.
she has poured her heart and soul into this book. The pictures are incredible, and I said you have to make a coffee table book of just all the photos and the
I have
modeling
tons.
photos.
I have tons.
Are you
I have
going to do
over-
it? You got to do it.
I am. I am.
I think it would be
That's one of my
fabulous.
goals. Yes. Lamont McLemore, the head singer for the Fifth Dimension.
Yes.
He founded the group, and he's not the lead. He would probably be happy that I said that, but he founded the group.
Details.
The Fifth Dimension, and he's also an amazing photographer.
Yeah.
And my best friend.
Yeah.
So he's the one that shot all these pictures for me. So we've been talking about doing a composite book.
And just on the back, what year
That's
was
one
this?
of his shots. That's one of his.
What was this one for, this shot? Do you remember?
Just fooling around.
Just are you serious? Okay, I wish I looked that good just fooling around. So now, but you were like on a 30-year hiatus of like
Yes.
really getting out into the media, and boy, have things changed, Jayne, from social media to podcast.
I know.
Isn't
I know.
it wild
It's
now?
drastically changed. And when I thought of it, coming back and I'm saying, what if I don't know what to do? What if I don't know? What if the studio processes change? What if this? What if that? What if that? And so then I say, well, I don't even know how to do my makeup anymore for TV. And I said, I don't even know where to go buy makeup anymore for TV.
Stop. By the way, she is just stunning in
Oh my
person.
gosh! I used to buy
Stunning.
Ben Nye all the time, and where do you get Ben Nye anymore? And where do you do the looks that they do? And what is a ring light? And what is this? And
That is a ring light that I'm
oh my
using.
God! Oh my God! Tell me.
How do we take a selfie?
And I ask my daughters, and they go, "Mom, don't ask again." Ask Zaire, she's there. And then I ask Zaire, and she says, "Well, no, ask Copper. She's the genius." Ask Copper. No, I'm busy.
It's those young kids. They know what they're doing. It's
Oh,
crazy.
And then if I do get her to ask to help me, she goes, "Okay, blah, 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 it's done." And I'm going, I
need
didn't
you to
learn
walk me
anything.
through it.
I didn't learn anything.
Right.
Well, you'll figure it out here.
It's wild. It's
my
wild.
God.
The whole TikTok trend and doing all the videos. It's crazy. So now you're in this like new normal. So what's your reaction? What's it been like for you? You're on this press tour, right, for your memoir?
Yes, this is definitely a new normal
Yeah.
because, I lived on the road before. When I stopped working, I had been on the road 328 days out of the year.
Wow.
And that wasn't a way to raise a child.
Yeah.
And that's why I held back. And now it's like everything is different. I can take an Uber to the airport. I don't have to.
I don't have to drive myself.
The airports all look different. Everything is different.
Yeah.
Everything is. Makeup is different.
Yeah.
I go to Ulta Beauty, and I walk in there, and I said, I need help. I need a little bit of everything. And they said, well, what are you looking for? And I said, I don't want any products that just tell me what I need. That's Fenty. I just want Fenty.
That is so funny. It's true. They'll help you. I've walked in there and, they're fabulous.
Yeah.
But I feel like you wait 2 weeks and then something new, right? Hollywood traditionally has been kind of rough on, like, if you're over 40, right? You talk about this in your book. And so, but I think the advancements, like Meryl Streep, Jane Fonda, like making that way of still being in the industry and still acting and still being hired, right? So that has changed.
Because that wasn't possible before.
Right.
They would hire aging men as leading roles, but not women. And so I love the fact that that's motivated them and they're moving forward in that direction.
Is there anything else? Do we still need to make improvements? Does Hollywood still need to be?
Oh, yeah. We're still not being paid equal to the white counterparts. When I signed my deal on the NFL Today, I wasn't being paid counter to what the women were making. The women in other capacities, because I was the first woman in sports. Mm-hmm. But in that type of genre, there were women. I was asked to do a magazine spread, and they had Farrah Fawcett, and there was like 10 major stars. And they asked me to be in it, and so they were going to do this wildlife safari type of look for the shoot. And so then they asked everybody, well, how much do you make? Because the article was about comparing salaries in these different industries. And I said, well, I don't discuss that. And they said, well, we need to know because that's part of the story. And I said, I don't discuss my salary. And so the book that came out, the magazine came out, and it had one girl was making like $5 million, the other girl was making $2 million, the other girl was making $385,000, the other one was making $10 million, and
What?
I was making $44,000.
Are you kidding me?
They didn't post that, but they didn't know that. I was making $44,000. The first time that I ever got paid for being equal to what my white counterpart was getting is when I worked for Jovan. And we got paid the same amount. That was the first time, and that was 1984.
Wow.
I'd been working in the industry for 14 years. Never got equal pay.
I almost feel like that really has never gone away.
Probably not. I mean, as a matter of fact, I know it's not because, I hear people talking about it all the time. They're making it, and it's interesting because it also goes to, I heard a female that had just won, a Black American actress, had just won an award. And in her speech, she said, and I've made it my commitment that from now on, for the next year, all of my projects are going to be women behind the scenes. And I sat there and I said, she said all of my projects. Didn't matter what else she said. She said all of my projects. When I was working, you were lucky to get one project in 3 years. And she's got projects with an S.
Wow.
And I'm going, this landscape has changed so much, and for the good. And it needs more. It needs more. I did a for TNT. It was called A Seat at the Table, and it had generations of women sports broadcasters, African American women sports broadcasters. Me, Pam Oliver, Stephanie Reddy, Taylor Rooks.
Yes.
She says, I can't believe that here we are, and I hear you talking about your experiences, and I never knew that. She said, I never knew that happened because I always assumed that what my experience now is the way it's always been. And I said, no, honey. And that's part of the message that I hope Plain Jane will bring, because there's a lot in there where you can learn instead of thinking that this is the way it's always been.
You've come a long way.
I've come a long way. I'm a child of the 60s, as I said. We had civil rights. People were murdering people. We might be back to that, unfortunately, with this country. But
you also talk about you were in your car and you saw Kerry Washington, a picture of her on the side of a bus for promotional ad for Scandal.
Yes.
And you just started crying.
Yes. I was sitting at the red light, and you see the bus is coming out of my side mirror, right? And it's creeping up, and I see these legs. And so then I see the skin, and it's a Black woman. And the bus is covered, top to bottom. And the bus is one of those big, big, big ones, and it's slowly creeping up to the light. And the reveal is getting bigger and bigger. And it's Terry Washington for Scandal. And I just had to pull over. So we never had that type of media exposure. Never, never, never.
How sad. And she broke ground. I mean, can you imagine women, first of all, in the sports world? She broke ground with those shows as well, with CBS,
Yes.
NFL Today. And somehow these athletes fall in love with you who they've denied other reporters, like notoriously said no to other reporters, and then finally said, yeah, Jayne can interview me.
Yeah.
How did you do that? That's
I've
amazing.
I've had that happen. Several people. As a matter of fact, I did a special for CBS, and I was actually surprised that they invited me because they fired me.
Right.
And then they let people believe that I walked out, but they were the culprit. They fired me, and so here it is years later, and they asked me to be on this special pregame show for the Super Bowl 2 years ago. And Brent Musburger and I are the only two surviving members of the cast. Mm-hmm. And since the two women have left that show, there's never been another woman on that desk. When Phyllis left, there's never been another woman on that desk since then.
Really?
Not on the NFL Today.
Yeah, you're right.
Not on the NFL Today.
Are you surprised at that? And the day and age
shocked.
that we are
I'm
in?
shocked because I really thought my children would be in a society. When I was raising my children, I thought that they would see some of the advancements of the things that we had fought for. And now, I'm looking at a world where my daughters have less agency over their bodies than I do. Mm-hmm. Yeah, how is that even possible? I thought we were going forward. Mm-hmm. I was ready to fight for going forward. Now we have to be ready to fight for not taking it away.
Yeah. You go on to talk in your memoir, Plain Jane, just about your Playboy, like, for instance, the controversial Playboy cover, right? So this was one of the biggest selling issues in 1981, but then that unexpected blowback from the Black community. And so what was that moment like? And she shares some really heartfelt stories in this book that Jayne has never shared before, and this is one of them.
That's a long story.
Yeah.
I could summarize it, but it wouldn't give it the validation that it needs. But
you talked about the advertisement with Kerry. We talked about the advertisement with Kerry Washington. This was for the movie Body and Soul.
This was for the movie.
Yeah.
This was for the movie, and a lot of people do that, But they didn't like it because it was me. Mm-hmm. It wasn't because it was Leon. They didn't like it because it was me. Yeah. I was there. The newspapers criticized me, and they said that I have disgraced the African American community, which really hurt because I'd always taken pride in being a proud Black woman, and that didn't sit well with me. Yeah. But it's hard to talk about it. Yeah. But that's one of the reasons I wrote the book, because I wanted to get all of my feelings out. I was tired of carrying them on my back for all those years. I wanted to, if it never was published, I wanted to get it on paper so that my soul would be healed. Because I had so many conflicting things in my life. Even when I was successful and everybody thought, oh, she's got it made, I was still on the road by myself. Like, they don't do that anymore. Yeah. And here I am making my own gowns because, I sewed as a child. I'm making my own gowns because I don't get paid enough money. So I'm making my own gowns that were awesome, I thought.
I'm sure they were.
And now you've got a whole glam team, know. I went on the air and they didn't have any black makeup, so I had to do my own. And then when the head of the studio, the head of the makeup department came over to me, he said, I heard you washed all your makeup off. And I said, yeah, because I look like a clown. And he said, so do you want to do your makeup yourself from now on? I said, yes. He said, then let me teach you how. And that's the way it should have been handled. Mm-hmm. And through the both of us talking about it, he then developed a line of makeup for women of color.
Wow. That's amazing. And the stories go on. And these situations and these stories you talk about with your grandfather having their own radio show, Turk Thompson, and his sister, which is Jayne's mom, right? So one of the very first Black acts to appear on the radio in the 1940s.
Yes.
And she didn't realize any of this until you started doing research for your book.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I had no idea. I was sitting in the living room at my mom's house. My father's passed away. Yeah. But I was sitting in the living room, and Mom's sister was there, and I'd asked her to sing for me because I love her voice. And so I was recording it, right? And then my cousin was sitting next to me. She says, they sang all the time, Jayne. I said, yeah, I know. She said, no, they had a radio show. And I said, what? She said they had a radio show, Turk Thompson and the Thompson Girls. She said they would go all over town doing their Sunday show. You know, they would go into the church, and if somebody was playing the piano, Grandpa would just kick them off the piano and he'd start playing. He was like a Jerry Lee Lewis piano playing man. He could play the piano. Oh my God, he was amazing. He was amazing. Never taught, never learned, just sat and played. And it was just brilliant to watch him play. And then on the Saturday, and he had a tobacco farm.
Wow.
So that's what he did during the week. But on Saturdays, then he would go in town in Chicago, Virginia, and he would take his 3 daughters, Ruby, Kat, and Mom, and they would go and sing Turk Thompson and the Thompson Girls. And I said, why has nobody ever told me this? You know, that's incredible. I would have been asking so many questions before. And, you know, and I do have recordings of some of my aunts singing, because they really do well. Unfortunately, I cannot.
No, I was going to ask you. They always say, well, Christy, you were in the Miss USA organization because you have no talent that you can show on stage. And I was like, yeah, I guess I can't sing, so that's why I didn't get into the Miss America.
Yeah, Miss America, you got to have a talent.
You got to have a talent.
Miss USA, you don't.
So Jayne and I never sang. You went on to record an audiobook for your new book.
For Plain Jane, yes.
And for over 25 years, you've been working on this. And then
Yes.
you go to record it, and it becomes an emotional experience for you.
Blew my mind. I mean, putting the words on paper was hard enough to begin. But then when you actually read them, you know, I've read them thousands of times. You know, like you go, how many times you're going to make this draft? And then you finally get to a publisher and they're saying, you know, they've got 10 copy editors and they're working on it. Then they've got another 12 copy editors that are working on it. Then you've got this person, no, we like this direction. No, let's change it to a memoir and not an autobiography. And all of these changes are going on, right? You know, and then I'm saying, you know, I can do this. I can do this, you know, and this is what I signed up for. But then we got to the Audible student, and I didn't know we were going to be able to record on Audible to the last minute.
Oh, wow.
So when I got to the studio and I'm reading the words out loud and people are listening, it became real. Mm-hmm. It became real. And I cried, I laughed, I talked too fast. I took great big gaps. But, you know, I read it in my voice, mm-hmm. which was something truly different. You know, and they didn't show me the playbacks. They didn't run the playbacks for me. So I don't know what it sounds like.
Oh, I'm sure it sounds
I don't know what it
amazing.
sounds like. I'm eager to hear.
What do you
It took
want?
3 weeks.
It took 3 weeks to
Yeah.
record it. Wow. This you have to grab it. Is there something or maybe one thing it's a very hard question. What do you want people to get from this book, from this memoir? Your stories are amazing and where you've come from, and she's so iconic and breaking ground in every situation, I feel like, in life. And I feel like people need to hear that.
There's
from
so
you.
many takeaways. One, trust in God.
Yep, amen.
Because he's gotten me through so many things. 2, family is everything. 3, never give up. Mm-hmm. Never, ever, ever give up. I've had so many times that I could have just said, hey, you know, I'm going back to Ohio. I'm not doing this anymore. I didn't even want to take my problems to my parents because I'm a grown-up. I was supposed to be able to handle my problems. So, you know, and that taught me how to be a strong person. So when you're strong and you believe in yourself, you can do pretty much everything. I never let anybody tell me that I couldn't.
Yeah, good for you.
Never. If they say you can't, then I go a different direction, find another way.
This is a new creative chapter in your life.
Yes, it is.
What are you looking forward to? And is there, when you look back at your life, like, is there one thing that you're most proud of?
My daughters. Yeah. But I got to tell you, every time I read about my mom and my dad, I cry.
Yes. Oh.
But yeah, I am so proud of my daughters. I can pat myself on the back because I think I did a great job.
You did.
My husband did an amazing job. We were a great pair. And I don't know, I think God put us together. I really do. We've been married 40 years. And our girls are just successful, brilliant, wonderful human beings that at the drop of a hat, they're willing to help someone else.
Yeah. You've taught them well.
I
It's
think I
amazing
did.
how God works in our lives.
He is
at the
amazing.
right moment and the right time.
Yeah, because a lot of times, you keep going, you say no. Why do you keep telling me no? Why you keep telling me no? And I'm doing everything. I'm right. Why isn't this happening? And then all of a sudden, you do it a different way. Okay, now you've done it. Now you've done it.
Been through so many of those situations. You just
Yeah.
ask God, like, what's next? What am I doing? Are we in the right place, the right time?
But for our young girls, I especially want them to know that you must take pride in yourself because no one else will. In these days, you have to not only just be strong in terms of eliminating everyone else in your life, but you have to know who you are at your core, not at someone else's core. And you have to be strong enough to know that you can maintain and do anything. And that's part of the lesson that I try to teach them. And sometimes you have to wait, which is okay. I have some of these young girls that I helped. I just got a call from one of them the other day, and she's 31 now. And she said, "Hey, Mama Jayne, can I talk to you?" And the funniest time was when, as they were growing up from ages 9 on to 18, they're graduating school and going off to college, and Miss Fat Booty comes out on the radio, and they say, "Yeah, she was all that, man. She was like Jayne Kennedy. Word to my mother, man. She was just like Jayne Kennedy." And all of a sudden now the girls are saying, "Mama Jayne is Jayne Kennedy."
Oh my gosh, they didn't realize you were such a big deal.
No, they did not. Most Def had to step in and show that card.
I have loved every minute with you.
Thank you.
This, again, go pick up her book. It's called Plain Jane. It's a memoir. It's been good for you to come back to Ohio, hasn't it?
It really
Do you
has.
still have family here?
I do. I
You
have
do?
2 sisters, a brother, and my mom,
You'll have to come back.
and lots of cousins.
Yeah, lots of cousins
Yeah.
are good.
Yeah.
Well, you'll have to come back. Come back to
Thank
the
you.
Fox 8 Studios.
Yes, I will. Thank you for the invitation.
And her life all in this book, and it is worth reading. And she's going to get that coffee table book, right, of all of her amazing modeling days, and still just as beautiful and just full of grace.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this.
Thank you for coming.
Appreciate it.
All right, we'll see you guys on the next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.